back, listeners and viewers, to another week at Education, the Teachers Talking Terror podcast where myself, Mike,
and myself, Courtney,
are back again. And this time it was your week. It was your week to pick a movie. And you double dipped, which I love it when we double dip. Because it was also on the scratch off list. But
it was?
Yeah, it was.
I guess I didn't realize that. I had wanted to watch it, and I was like, Christine suggested it, so why not?
Yeah, and it was also on the scratch off list. So we're down to only 80 movies left on the list. But we are covering this week Rosemary's Baby, the Roman Polanski classic, starring Mia Farrow, and really an ensemble cast of just amazing actors. Like, nobody that you're really like, oh, I know that person. But just top to bottom, I think a movie like this could have really fallen apart if all the other people outside of the Woodhouses were not capable.
Yeah.
You know, so much really rested on the community of this building. So, your movie.
Yeah, so I'll kick us off.
Lead the charge.
Okay, so we've got Guy Woodhouse, which I'm sorry if any of you guys listening, if your name is Guy, but for some reason, like, that name frustrates me to my core.
What about Buddy?
No, that's a dog's name, first of all. So, again, I'm sorry if anyone has that name. But I don't know. It's something about, like, a man being named Guy. Like, hey, Guy. Like, what? I don't know. I can't.
It's okay.
So that annoyed me through the whole thing, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So Guy and his wife, Rosemary, are touring apartments as they are moving into New York City.
Yeah.
And
he's an actor.
Yes. And she just kind of stays home.
Yeah, she's just there.
Yeah. So they're touring the Bramford.
Yeah.
Which is just like a apartment building.
It's kind of got this old, like, Renaissance feel. It's like old New York feel.
Yes. And the previous tenant who lived in the building they're looking to sub is died.
Yeah.
Which automatically I'd be like, nope, thanks though, because
you wouldn't live in a home that someone had died in.
No, because while I say I don't believe in ghosts, like, what if they're haunting it?
Okay, it's 2024. It's 2024. We have inhabited this country for 250 years. That's a lot of dead people.
Yeah, it is. I know. Listen, I can't afford to move anywhere else.
Right.
So
but there's a chance that someone has died in your home.
You know what? Then they can start paying the bills. They can split the bills with me.
You don't believe in ghosts. I'm not saying they're there. I am fairly certain no one has died in my home, as I think the build of our home was like 1988 or something like that.
I know the previous 3 families that lived here, and I know that they're still alive. So I'm confident. Yeah,
but that's the previous 3.
I know. I know.
Again,
don't even go there with me.
I'm just saying, we did. I know growing up, we lived in a house, and then there was a house, we had an alley behind our house, and then the house on the other side of the alley, an old man had died in. And of course I was 9, so I didn't know what was going on. But he had died in the house, and so everything went up to auction, and my parents bought the house on auction, and we moved in, and I never had any ill things.
And you had a best friend growing up, imaginary
my sister
best
may
friend.
have. I didn't. I didn't have any ghostly best friends. But Guy and Rosemary are, like you said, they're checking out an apartment where this old lady had passed away.
Yes. She had been displaying some odd behaviors.
Yeah.
She, there was examples, she had moved this big, armoire type thing in front of a closet, blocked it off, with household items in that closet that you would need.
Yeah, she was using the closet, vacuum
cleaner.
But she would just block the closet off when she wasn't getting something out of it. It was odd.
And the landlord at their, previous apartment is telling them all of these dark things that have happened there, but they're forget that.
It's good.
They still move in.
Yeah, Guy really was he's very much a catalyst of all of the Woodhouse decisions in this movie.
Yes.
But he's like, we're doing it. We're moving in.
Yep. So they head in. Rosemary heads down to do laundry and meets Tracy, Terry, who they hit it off. Terry expresses to her she's a recovering drug addict. They have like neighboring apartments. Mm-hmm. And
she's living with Castavets.
Yes.
Minnie and
saved
Roman.
Her life.
Yeah, Minnie and Roman Castavet are just this kind of really eccentric old couple.
Yeah,
like they're kind of a riot though. Like
they are.
You could tell that older age didn't slow this couple down.
No, it did not. And they have they saved her life, and Terry makes that very clear.
Yeah.
Well, later on that night, whenever Terry killed herself. She jumped out the window.
And they lived all the way up like the 7th floor, and took a swan dive.
Yeah, and the Castavets come home, and they're like, no, that's not possible. Like, she was clean. And Rosemary expresses how much Terry was thankful for them. And next morning, Minnie shows up at the house, the apartment, and she's like, I really appreciate you, and gives her this good luck charm.
Yeah, and
that Terry wore.
Yeah, like Rosemary and Guy just met the Castavets. Like, they haven't lived there long enough to meet really anyone. They met Terry. Terry said, I'm living with the Castavets. Terry commits suicide, and then that's like you said, the first time the Castavets met the Woodhouses, and then the next day, Minnie's showing up with this good luck charm.
And it smells, but she's like, you'll get used to the smell. It's got like tannis root in it, and I don't even know what that is.
It doesn't matter.
But and just some things happen after this. Like, Guy he's an actor, but I wouldn't say he's like super successful.
No, he wasn't at all. Like he was always
he was in a couple commercials.
He's one of those guys that like always they'll call him back for an audition, but he never gets the role.
Yeah.
Well, he was like, even there, like he gets cast as like the understudy of a play.
Yes.
So it's not even he's not even the lead in this play.
No.
Let me back it up. He's not the lead, but he's the backup to the lead.
Right.
And that's kind of his career. Like, I'm never really ever on stage.
He's always in second place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually gets catapulted to the lead when the lead goes blind.
Yeah, just unexplainably,
out of nowhere. Like,
woke up and couldn't see.
I'm blind now. And so, Guy really seizes this opportunity, really leads to some, kind of like minor stardom. Because again, we're talking like a stage play in New York in the 60s. But his acting career starts to flourish. He, one role to another, and he's just very excited. Like, life is good for the Woodhouses now. So good, in fact, that Guy's like, hey, let's have a baby.
Yeah. And so the night that they kind of decide that and plan to make a baby.
Seal the deal.
Yes. Minnie comes over, and it was previously like shown in the movie that they did not, Minnie's not a cook. No. Like, they went to their house for dinner. They choked down the food. Minnie brought over what she called chocolate mouse, but we know it as moose. And Rosemary complained that it had like a chalky taste. Like, it's got an undertaste.
Right, which doesn't surprise us as viewers, because we've already established that Minnie's not a good cook. So she screwed this up somehow.
Exactly. And Guy is like, you're ungrateful. She worked all day for this. Just eat it.
Eat it. So she does a little bit, and then, secretly gets rid of the rest.
Yeah.
And again, this is the night that the magic's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. Because it just shows you like how busy I guess they are, that they're like, look, put it on your calendars, Rosemary.
Yeah.
Put it on your calendar.
Making a baby tonight.
Yeah. As a stay-at-home wife, make sure your schedule's open.
Yes, please.
But soon after she does eat that moose, she starts to get real dizzy, and she passes out.
Yeah, and she's got a wicked dream.
She has a really weird dream.
Yeah.
In this dream, what happens in this dream?
So she's surrounded by
like
Minnie,
everybody in the building, like all these old people.
They're all old. Yeah. Yes, like everyone in the building is old, and they're all naked.
Mm-hmm.
She is taken advantage of by this demonic presence.
Yeah, like she's being assaulted by, and we never really see this. We see the eyes.
Yeah.
Like we don't really see like the full figure, but we see her in a, in a very receptive position.
Yes.
And we keep cutting back to like this, like whoever's with her, we keep cutting it to the eyes. And it's obviously not Guy.
Right.
But she's having a dream.
Yep. And so Guy wakes her up the next morning, explains like scratches or because he didn't want to miss baby night.
She's all scratched up.
Yeah.
What a disgusting human being.
Yeah, it really is. Like, A, you can't wake your wife up. B, you can't just wait one more night.
Not just that, but you saw her, like, she wasn't feeling well. She got dizzy. She passed out. And you're like, well, it's baby night. Like,
I know if I'm coughing, Casey's like, don't even kiss me.
Right.
And so
guys like, well,
you passed out, but we're still going.
Yeah, we're married and you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, hopefully this has to go without saying. Marriage does not protect you from rape.
Yeah.
Like, sexual assault is real whether you're married or not.
Yes.
I understand that in some eyes, possibly even the law, it might create kind of a gray area because, well, we're married, but no. Consent is consent. And clearly when you're passed out, you're not giving consent.
Exactly.
But guys like, oh, sorry about those scratches, babe. I'll cut my fingernails.
Yeah, like, okay, please.
Yeah, and and what better yet, just don't do that again.
Yeah, exactly. Rosemary does become pregnant, though.
Yeah. This is a successful baby night.
Yeah, it was. The Castavets are like, oh, we've got the perfect doctor for you. Yes. So they set her up with this doctor, cancel the old doctor. Yes. And he's very prominent in the well-to-do known,
oh yeah, like the upper echelon, like
yes.
Yeah, your upper class. He's like the go-to obstetrician for the upper class in New York, apparently.
Yes. And pregnancy does not treat Rosemary well.
No, she wants to go. Well, she wanted to go to her doctor.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm going to Dr. Hill, but they no more than just canceled for her.
Right. Well, and that's really arguably some of the scariest stuff about this movie is Rosemary at no point is left to make her own decisions.
Yeah, no, not through anything.
Right, and one would think like not that it's acceptable, but this is the 60s. Maybe your husband making decisions for you is a little more common. But like, no, we're talking about like the neighbors, like everybody in your life is making your decisions for her. Because she is. I mean, Rosemary's just a pushover.
Yeah,
she really is. She's just a very like, very fragile, kind of wafer thin, like just beautiful, but just a pushover.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, you said pregnancy was not nice.
Yeah, like she looks like death. Like she is, I mean, losing a ton of weight, having severe pain, chopped all her hair off. Yeah. I don't remember why or if she just did that.
Who knows?
But I mean, yeah, she's just her friends.
It may have been also just an attempt to kind of show the passage of time.
Yeah.
Because pregnancies take a while, I hear. And so, we're trying to get a whole 9-month pregnancy in, because the movie is called Rosemary's Baby.
Yes.
So in the movie, we see her pregnant, and we do have to pass 9 months of time somehow. Yes. So possibly a haircut was just an opportunity to show that, she's gone to get a haircut. So
it's also the only thing at this point that she can control. So
that's true.
Even though Guy does not like it, and he is very open about that. But her friends are like, honey, you look awful.
Uh-huh.
And then we've got Hutch.
Yeah.
Who he's been looking into some stuff about the Bramford's history, which is again the apartment building that they live in. And he, right before he can tell her anything, just boom, he's in a coma.
Right. Again, just another inexplicable, mysterious.
Yeah.
Like the guy going blind in the play. Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah. So Rosemary is in just an immense amount of pain, refuses to go to Dr. Saperstein. And she's like, I want to be with Dr. Hill. Guy is like, no, he'll be offended.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to stay.
We need to put other people's feelings in mind here, Rosemary.
Yeah. Not
who's pregnant.
The mother of my child.
Like, boy, aren't you just very self-centered?
As they're mid-argument, the pain stops and the baby starts moving. And I feel like she stops then because she is distracted by the movement of your baby.
Yeah.
Fast forward 3 months and one of Hutch's friends contacts Rosemary and he died.
Yeah. He died. And this, again, like you said, like 3 months later. So he was in a coma for no reason for Hutch is dead. So he does have one last parting gift, though.
Yes, and it is a book on witchcraft called All of Them Witches.
Which sounds like it just sounds like a real funny like Halloween rap song.
Yeah.
All of them witches.
With a little message, and it's like the name is an anagram. So she is pictured using some Scrabble tiles, just trying to get figure out what she can unscramble.
This is the part of the movie. Now, granted, obviously it's a work of fiction, but this one was kind of a real stretch because at no point has Rosemary really shown evidence of being of I won't say she's dumb. She's not dumb, but just she's just like the trophy wife. Like,
but she comes off kind of as dumb because she never does anything to stand up for herself.
She never advocates for her own needs. She is a sheep
just being led everywhere.
And so for her, with that cryptic message, the name is an anagram. Like, I don't remember. You might did it say what name was an anagram or she?
No, I don't think
she's
so.
Like, I see your Facebook post, and I'm gonna go solve this mystery. Like, that doesn't make sense, but. No. We got to move the story along somehow.
Exactly. So she's figuring it all out. Well, she comes to find out Roman.
Roman Castevet.
Yes. Who was a former resident.
Well, the son, Yeah,
the son
mix those around, and she finds out it was Stephen Marcato.
Yes, Stephen Marcato.
And Stephen Marcato was a former Bramford resident and also a Satanist.
Yes.
And so Roman ends up being his son. Roman Castevet is Stephen Marcato's son.
And so she then puts together that she thinks the Castevets and Dr. Saperstein are all part of this coven and they want her baby.
Yeah, so big leap. Really, in terms of logic, because at this point, you're just a pregnant woman. And you've got a building full of people taking care of you. Even if it's against your wishes a lot of time, but they're trying to take care of you. And she's just, I'm pretty sure you guys are all of them witches. And
all of them witches.
All of them. And you guys are in a coven and you're trying to steal my baby. Yeah, it does sound ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, she talks to her husband about it, and he's like,
"You're nuts!
No,
yeah,
you're crazy." And I mean, while cleaning up later, he throws her book away because
which now Rosemary, who's apparently like off the deep end, because it's like her actions are like she's left with nothing but paranoia, and and just like suspicion. So now it's guy threw my book away. I bet he's in with them. Like, it's the makeup of all of these events don't appear to make any sense.
Right. So she goes to Dr. Hill for help.
Yeah. She finally gets to Hill.
Yes.
And Hill calls Saperstein.
Yes.
Because again, he hasn't seen her this entire pregnancy. So, I mean, at this point, Saperstein is her doctor.
Yeah, and so Saperstein shows up with Guy, and they take her home, but she goes into labor.
Well, they tell her too, you either come with us or we're going to have we're going to have you admitted.
Yeah.
Because you're acting ridiculous.
Yeah. And isn't this no? So then she goes home. She runs away. There's a little cat and mouse chase.
She locks herself in. Yeah, she locks herself in her apartment.
Yeah, and the coven members get in and
somehow,
sedate her.
Yes,
and she then goes into labor and gives birth.
Right. Yeah, and so this is the second time that, like, Millie Castevet second time that Minnie Castevet has been responsible, I won't say responsible, but been present for her, like, passing out.
Yes.
So when she does awaken from this sedation, they tell her the baby was stillborn. Like, you lost the baby. Which, as if she's not already in enough trauma.
Exactly.
Like, sorry, we sedated you, and while you were asleep, you had the baby, but it died.
But you could almost believe because of all of the stress she was going through with her pregnancy.
Yeah, it's like it's been a little chaotic.
Yeah.
But she puts her detective hat on, though.
She does.
And
she's got a good detective hat.
She starts noticing things like, because obviously a woman's body doesn't stop the birthing process, whether the baby's born alive or stillborn. So it's like she's still got breast milk in or whatever. Well, she's been pumping. Well, she's been being pumped, I should say. But she noticed that, like, why are we saving my breast milk?
Yeah.
Like, if the baby was stillborn, there's no need for my breast milk. But it's being saved, not thrown out. She's been given a prescription, and she eventually starts to be like, something's not right here. So because she's just always in and out of consciousness. So she stops taking her pills, and then over time becomes less groggy. Like, she's really starting to be like, this is not, like, I know I may have been sounding like a moron with all of my accusations from before, but now some of this stuff's starting to add up.
Yes.
And then what does she hear?
Is this where... What did she hear? Because this is where she goes through the clock, like, where she's like, my baby is alive.
Yeah, she hears a baby crying.
Yeah, okay.
And she starts questioning Guy, and Guy's like, no, the people moved in upstairs, they have a baby. Like, it's just coincidence. It's nothing. No, our baby died. So this is when she's like, still have my detective hat on.
And she remembers that the elderly lady before had blocked off the closet, so she goes digging in the closet and finds a door. Yes. So she heads through there, and it's in Minnie and Roman's apartment.
Yes, and everybody is surrounding this, like, bassinet that's, like, decked out in black.
Yeah,
there's, like, an upside down cross, like.
And this is where the movie kind of lost its luster for me.
See, I'm on the other end. This is where this movie the ending of this just nailed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because and she goes, I mean, I guess I should wait a few minutes, and then it kind of lost it for me. So she's walking through there. She's got this knife, and I mean, people are just like, they're just casually sitting drinking.
Oh yeah. They're just, it's like a party.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's like a mixer, a social.
Yeah. And then she walks over to the bassinet.
Right. Nobody's stopping her. Like, she's clearly ready. She's armed. But no one's stopping her.
Looks inside, looks out, screams.
Yeah.
What's wrong with her baby's eyes? And this is where it lost its luster.
Really?
Yes, because I think that, like, this anxiousness of, like, the under kind of tone of the movie, it's just so anxious because you don't know what's going on. And then it's just like Roman stands up and he's like, that's Satan's son. Satan's the dad. And it's like the mystery was just taken away. Like, he just blurted it out.
Okay. I can see that.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
Why?
because Roman's like,
Yeah.
that's Adrian. It's
Yeah.
Satan's son. He's got his father's eyes. Like that's what's wrong with his eyes. He has his
Yeah.
father's eyes. To which, of course, Rosemary um, wants nothing to do. Like,
Right.
because everything she's been suspecting that everyone has been denying has now come full force to truth. And he's like, just be a mother. You don't have to join us. You don't have to join the coven. You don't have to be a
Right.
Satanist. Just join us. Like it's all been worth it because everything has been for this moment. The previous tenant dying was not a mistake.
No.
It was to free up because Roman had already sold his soul.
Yeah.
Like even before the Castavets came into the picture, he was a struggling actor that had an opportunity to sell his soul to the devil in exchange for success. But what the devil wanted out of it was a child.
Yeah.
And so all of this set up I believe Terry from the beginning, Terry was supposed to be the recipient of Satan's child. Don't need her anymore. Out she goes. So obviously the guy going blind, which led to Guy's success, and obviously Hutch going to a coma because he figured things out, and all of this stuff falling in, all of it was to get Guy and Rosemary in that apartment so that Satan could impregnate her.
Yes.
And all of this comes together here to where Rosemary wants nothing to do with it. Why would she? She spits in Guy's face when he's like, it's okay, like we can have our own kids now. Like you've given Satan what he wanted, now it's our turn.
And you've told me I'm crazy this whole time.
Like, but I'm not. So it's like, Rosemary, you're not crazy either.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
I think like the scariest part, or like not even like lesson behind the movie, but like the scariest thing about this movie is like now, because in the end she heard the baby cry and her motherly instinct, and she just started caring for it.
Yeah.
And it's like
starts rocking the cradle.
Now she's trapped. Right. I mean, ultimately, like these people who were your quote unquote friends have been
manipulating you the whole time.
And now it's like you have a chance to go and you're trapped because she's not going to leave that baby now.
Well, no, but and you're absolutely right. And I think out of all of this, it's still her baby.
Yes.
And so I think that's really where like the reality of not the reality, the weight of the moment hit was when the truth has been exposed and all of these people have been in cahoots with the devil and he's impregnated her. Like that dream she had was not a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she was drugged and Satan, raped her.
Yes.
Impregnated her. Her husband was fine with it. Like all of this is fine because it's all been for us. And it's like the only person that really cares about that baby is her.
Exactly.
Even at the end where she's like, no, what's wrong with this? But when she hear like, I am his mother. I'm the only one that can console this child.
Yeah.
And that's how the movie ends. Like, it ends with Rosemary. We don't really ever know if she's on board or not. But bottom line is, that's my baby.
Yeah.
I carry it.
She's now, I mean, basically forced into caring for the child of Satan.
But is she forced? Because again, I think it's almost the acceptance. I always read it as she's accepting that's my baby, regardless of what it looks like, regardless who the father is. To where it's like all of these people are the ones that are forced.
Yeah,
I'm the one because if you disobey, you die.
Yes,
I'm the one. Like I'm his mother. I'm more important than all of you.
Yeah. I just like when he just stood up and just yelled out. I'm just like,
it was a little. It was kind of corny. Like
why? Like I mean, because I loved this movie. Like I think just the unknown part of everything and the mysterious part of everything was great. But then it's just like boom.
Yeah.
This is not even the plot twist because I'm just saying it out loud.
Yeah. But yeah, I get it. The delivery of the truth was a little hokey.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, that's how we're doing this? Like,
yeah.
We're just like, going to announce it?
Right. And I could have even been fine with like her hearing it from Guy.
Yeah.
You know, over Roman.
Right. Yeah, like, but Roman was... but again, like, for Roman to be the one, it's like, it was his... Like, he's the grand wizard of this Satan cult.
Yes.
Because it was his name that was the anagram. So it's him that it's like mission accomplished. That's the son of Satan. Like, we did it, everybody.
Yeah.
And then even Guy being like, it's okay. Like, we can have our own kids now. Like, we're off the hook. You know, and I'm like, no. And she's like, nope, that's my baby. I need to take care of it. Just shows the power of maternal instincts.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Well, that's Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, I liked this one.
Good. Grade it.
I'm gonna give this one an... See, I wish I could give like between an A and an A+. I'm gonna give it an A. Okay. A high A then. Yes, and a high A.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with an A as well. It's a horror film because of the elements.
Yes.
But it definitely feels more like a suspense, thriller, mystery kind of thing. Like, it's definitely, again, we've talked about it so many times before, of the wide umbrella of the horror genre.
Yes.
Not everything has to be murders and blood and gore. Sometimes you just have a story about Satan and witches. Mm-hmm. And hiding in New York City, doing the devil's bidding. And it's like, because this movie's not gory. This movie, it's not really even scary. But if you start to connect yourself to Rosemary and her life, that's when you're like, man, like, you move to this city, you don't know anybody, you know, and the only people you know are the people in your building, and they're way overbearing in terms of being there for you.
Yeah. And like, the love of your life and partner has betrayed you. And it's like the one thing that is supposed to be like a safe thing of becoming a mom is now totally unsafe. Oh, You've got no say in it. Right. And it is. That part is scary.
Terrifying. It's terrifying. So this movie was nominated for a couple of Oscars. One of them, Ruth Gordon, who played Minnie Castevet, won an Oscar for, I think it's best.
I liked her.
Yeah, she was great.
She was just I really liked her as that part.
Yeah, she won Best Supporting Actress for this role. And she did do a great job. But it really is. It's such a solid film. It's been even if the director of the movie, Roman Polanski, is just an absolute creep of a human being. But we're not going to get into that here. He's a very talented filmmaker nonetheless, but this movie really was a great film. So A's from both of us. All right, I can't keep track.
It is a shuffle week.
Shuffle week.
Yes, okay. I can't remember the movie name 2 days later, but I remember what we are.
We are great partners for this show. Yes, I always remember a movie we're watching. I just never remember what it's from. All right, Shuffle Week it is. Well, let me pull up the old horror genre shuffle machine here, and I'm gonna hit shuffle, and we are watching. Okay, I'm gonna check this one out. This is one of those. Sometimes I come across some. I'm like, I didn't even know I had that movie. This movie is a late 90s, 1999.
Ooh, I was 3 years old.
Yeah, I was a freshman in college. This movie is called Resurrection. Resurrection. Here is the premise. It's definitely not this. I don't think it's going to be in the same vein as a Rosemary's Baby. Detective Prudhomme and his partner are assigned to investigate the murder of a man whose arm was severed. After 2 more victims with missing body parts turn up, the detectives realize they're after a serial killer. Even worse, he's using the body parts to resurrect the body of Christ.
Interesting.
Yeah. Starring Christopher Lambert. David Cronenberg's in the movie. Former NBA player Rick Fox is in the movie. So, I have it. It must have shown up on a list of something because I don't know why I would have it otherwise. But we are going to watch the 1999 film Resurrection for next week. Clocks in under 2 hours. Here's some of the reviews. If this sounds like a knockoff of Seven, that's because it is. A blatant ripoff of Seven, but pretty scary and unsettling in its own right. And this last one goes, approach it with really, really low expectations.
Okay, low expectations.
All right, that's good. It really is good to know that, though.
Yeah, it is.
Resurrection. It'll be a brand new film for me.
Same.
Brand new film. Resurrection. I don't even think it has a Wikipedia page. Yeah, it does. It's a Canadian. Well, very, very small. That's all right. So, yeah, we are going to be watching Resurrection for next week. I'm glad you like this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, social media-wise, ladies and gentlemen, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also check us out on LinkedIn, as we do have a list going of the movies we've covered, and I have not yet found the time to go in and add our reviews. Not LinkedIn, Letterboxd.
I was like, wait, LinkedIn has something besides jobs?
Nope. I between this and work, I am on way too many social media channels. No, not LinkedIn, Letterboxd. I'm glad I was watching. Like I caught your head going confused, like confused dog out of the corner of my eye. Like, what? But no, Letterboxd. So, yeah, I don't have anything else to add. I don't really think that Resurrection's going to be anywhere near as good as Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, we've had two solid picks.
We've had very solid picks. But you know what? Might be fun to watch a clunker.
Yeah.
So
humble the horror movies a little bit.
That's true. So, Detective John Prudhomme. Oh, he says he's a Cajun that's transferred to Chicago. Oh, I hope he has a bad accent. Oh, I hope he's got a bad accent the whole movie. That's gonna really
make things better.
Yes. But you know what? I mentioned Seven to you a couple of weeks ago as a movie I think you really, really, really enjoy. And this says it's a knockoff of that movie. So this may not be too bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So may not be too bad. All right. Well, for another week of Deducation, we'll be back next week with Resurrection. I'm Mike.
And I'm Courtney.
And you guys have a good rest of your week.
Bye.